Hey, it's Jeremy from jeremy.net. I'm a comic book artist, writer, and illustrator, and I share my creative process here with you online. If you enjoy these live streams, like to get additional bonus live streams twice a month, you can become a Patreon subscriber for as little as $2 a month. Head on over to patreon.com/Jeremy. It's patreon.com/GERIMI. If you'd like to get a digital sketchbook, work in progress animated GIFs delivered right to your inbox, blog posts about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what's inspiring me creatively, you can sign up for my free newsletter at substack.com/@Jeremy. And if you'd like to purchase physical copies of my comic books, or if you read digitally on Kindle, you can go to amazon.jeremy.net. That will forward you to, where are these laying weird? That will forward you to my Amazon author page. Okay, so we are continuing with some comic book work here. Let's see here. I see Jim Lujan, the great unicornian ringmaster in the chat, says, Jeremy Christmas. Well, Jeremy Christmas to you too, Jim, as well. And you know what? I got to have you on for a post-Unicornians debrief wrap-up. It's getting close to the end of the year, so maybe that's something we could do early in January or whenever you're free. But I got to have you on for another one now that you have completed such a massive project, so everyone can bug you about, what are you doing next? No, I want to hear the high points and low points and the arc and bask in the warmth of completing your masterpiece, which for those of you who have not checked it out, go to, do I have a little link here in my banners? Do I have a, Jim's been on enough that I should just have an automatic, here we go, jimluhan.com, which you can search for Jim Lujan on YouTube, and you will find his page. jimluhan.com will forward you to his YouTube page where you can watch many of his films, including, you will see the debut and episodes of his most recent masterpiece, The Unicornians, continuing the legacy of John Henry Unicorn with a dramatic, suspenseful thriller. But yes, Jeremy Christmas to you too as well, Jim, and congratulations again on completing the project. As I muddle through my next project, so let's see here. Why do I have Illustrator up on my screen? I have it up on my screen because I am going to work on tightening up the layouts for page 1, and I kind of have to flip this over here. So I've got the screen up. So oddly enough, I can't see you guys while I'm doing this, but I am, in fact, I need to take my iPad down for a moment so I can properly reach the keyboard. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking this and in fact, I'm gonna have to create a new folder. So I can save this and create a new set of pages. So what I'm going to do here is turn off my text for a second. I'm trying to figure out what that is in my layout panel. Oh, that's the actual comic book layout. So I can just delete that. Don't need it. And I'm just going to set up a 6-panel grid. And I've been thinking about the fact that I get the feeling I really am starting to overthink and over-engineer my whole process. I am very organized and I'm design and process oriented, but I think that I'm making the whole thing just too damn complicated, and I just need to say, you know what? If I want to have some pages that are 9-panel grids and some pages that are 6-panel, fine. And you yourself might say, why do you care so much about being specific about panel size? It's only because I am attempting to make a comic that's going to run in both print. I'm actually planning to make it more of a mobile friendly. I'm not gonna put it on Webtoons, but I want to design it for a mobile friendly format. And I haven't really decided whether it's just gonna be on my website and Instagram, whether it's gonna be on my website and Threads. But I'm gonna try and set this up where it's gonna be. I'm trying to create a pleasant, mobile friendly experience, and print is almost not an afterthought, but it's kind of like the secondary format for this. And that's kind of a challenge to make something that's going to read well in both print and digital. Let's see here. And I see Chris is in the chat. Good to see you, Chris. Happy holidays. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Or if you just want to, shoot the shit, you are welcome to shoot. So now that I got this, I have to decide whether I want to try and put in some placeholder text. And I think in order to do this, I'm going to have to show you guys what I am looking at. So let me, you know what? I might already have this on my computer. Let me see here. Nope, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. This is what happens when you get too reliant on hotkeys, but can't remember what hotkey you actually want. Let's go to, is that it? Nope, that is some figure drawing. So what I am doing here is I am exporting the most recent page that I was working on. And now I can drop that in here. And here's some character sketches. I started working out Hephaestus. And I still have some more work to do before I've really got him worked out as a character. But he's in like the last shot of this page. So I've sort of got a Zeus and I've sort of got a Hephaestus. But this is just so I can toss some placeholder dialogue in the panel. So let's go in here and take this, move it over here to my comic page. Let's move this down to the text layer. Let me see. Lock those panels real quick. In the dawn of the age of man. And let's just put it in a caption box. Sometimes I like having text floating and not in a frame, but given that I want to have the freedom to kind of play with the clouds in this panel, it might be wiser see. And am I using a one stroke frame? All right, let's drop that. Behind there. Let's say the god sat high on Mount Olympus. Let's say high above the earth. Let's see here. Let's see here. All right, I had to switch back now. See, what's crazy is when I'm doing it, when I'm working in Illustrator, I can't see the screen the same way I can normally. So I see Herman's in the chat, says, what's good, G? And people, hope all is well. Good to see you too. And yeah, it's going well, making some progress here. James is here, says, I'm in and out since I'm having brunch. Well, hell, man, I hope you have an enjoyable brunch. You can always come back and watch this later. Go spend time with loved ones. But I appreciate you checking in. I'm not trying to get rid of you. I'm glad that you're here. Definitely hang out if you have time to hang out. But by all means, nothing should come between a person and their brunch. So yeah, what I am doing is I am placing some dialogue. And I'm wondering if maybe this. Top Mount Olympus. I feel like I need to dig out my copy of Frank Miller's 300, because this definitely feels like it's got a very 300 vibe to it, at least in the opening sequence. And this dialogue, I'm literally thinking this up as we're sitting here. This is not necessarily my final. It's just me putting in, like James said, I'm just placing elements right now. If I zoom out, you can see I've got the thumbnail next to me. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the actual frame and putting text elements in there, so I can take this entire box of text and panel borders and drop it in Procreate and begin sketching, going from thumbnail to more of a tighter comic page. Let's see here. James says, I used to handwrite when I made comics. My handwriting could be better, though. You know what's interesting is I have found that handwriting does actually improve my draftsmanship. For instance, when I would thumbnail by hand, I started using a brush to do my thumbnails. And I did that simply because I wanted more practice inking with a brush. And you doing doodles and notes with a tool that you're trying to master is great. I mean, hell, if you're trying to learn how to oil paint, maybe doing notes in oil paint would help with it. There's something about the act of writing with a tool you're trying to master that just gives you more flexibility. It builds the basic motor skills, because we all know how to make print block letters. So what it does is it taps into that refined motor skill you have and teaches you how to get the tool to do the things that you want. But I found that I had to force myself to write more clearly and concisely while doing that. And while we're at it, I see Herman is in the chat. Well, not in the chat, but joining the stream. Hang on, I'll bring you in a second there, Herman. James says, I made a cyberpunk comic that was inspired by Spider-Man 2099 Grimjack that references to A Clockwork Orange and Total Recall. That sounds like a pretty cool project. Did you ever do it as like a mini comic or something, or put it in print to share with people at conventions or online? And by the way, I love Spider-Man 2099. Peter David, rest in peace, was a master storyteller, and Rick Leonardi he's one of those guys who, he is a master storyteller that I do not feel gets enough love and enough credit. I need to go back and read more of his stuff. I haven't read like a lot of the Star Wars stuff and the stuff he's been doing over the since Spider-Man 2099, but that was when I really, really fell in love with his work. Hey Herman, how you doing? By the way, I don't know if you're talking and you're muted or whether you want to stay. I noticed you're muted. I just didn't know if you wanted to stay muted because you had background noise or not. I just want to make sure you knew. And let's see here. James says it was 24 pages. I think I never put it in print. Well, hell, there's always time. I mean, it sounds like a pretty cool. You picked really cool influences. So,
hello.
Hey. Oh, there you are, man. How you doing?
Yeah. I had to figure out my mic. I was like, wait a minute, I'm muted on there, but then I had to check my actual mic and it was like muted. So yeah, I'm doing okay, man. Hope everybody's doing well.
Oh, good. Oh shit. I see Amar is here, and I see my boy Jamie is here. What up? Have not talked to you in ages. He's another fellow comic creator
Okay.
slash toy creator. Like I've known Jamie for a long ass time, but haven't had a chance to catch up to him in ages. Thanks for popping in. What's up,
See,
man?
I need to learn that. See, then y'all and the toys are doing stuff like I need to be able to do those type of jobs. I mean, I'm sure I'm creative enough to do that. So I
Mm-hmm.
just have to find gigs like related to that.
You know, I honestly, I tell you, it's a matter of getting on. It's honestly a matter of just finding the companies that you want to work for,
Mhm.
reaching out to their HR companies, and the way that I got in was just they, right time, right place. An ad came up like on monster.com or one of those job boards, and I went in. But
Right.
if you wanted specifically to work in the toy industry, then it's a matter of getting on LinkedIn, finding out who the art directors are, hitting
Right.
them up, and just it's targeting a specific thing. If you want to
Mhm.
do toy,
Legos.
action figures are the hardest thing to get into because it's the most competitive part of the toy industry and it's super cutthroat.
Yeah, I
But
can
if
see.
but it's a matter of getting honestly, you have a lot more flexibility in terms of moving to
Right.
other parts of the industry once you're in. I got
Mhm.
in as a packaging designer,
Okay.
and I do think that that's actually the best way to get in. This is so weird. Oh, okay. Amar joined, but it says that he's not connected with a mic or a camera. So when
Okay.
you get connected, so when he gets connected, I can. Oh, there we go. I can add him. Um, but what I was going to say is getting in packaging design. The thing is, it's easier to get in, but it tends to be kind of a firewall between packaging design and product design. It's kind of like they make it hard to go back and forth between either
What?
one. I got
Why?
very, very lucky.
That's crazy.
Um, but what you do honestly is you find companies that are because you're in New York, right?
No, I'm in Baltimore.
Baltimore. That's right. You told me Baltimore. I don't know why I'm thinking.
I mean, if I could work remotely, I mean, again, like I said, I'm dealing with like I have an elderly mother, so like
Mhm.
I'm in the process of trying to like get things situated with the house and like make it more like senior citizen friendly type deal. So like it's a lot going on right now, and me trying to figure out
Mhm.
what to do, and then while also trying to do this. So that's why I was like, maybe, I mean, at the moment right now, remote work I can probably only do that for right now instead of
Mm.
like traveling and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. You might be able to find small studios and small companies that are in Baltimore.
Right.
And even if because the point is that even if with your responsibilities you can only work remotely, if you were able to, for somebody who isn't coming out of either another toy job or if you're not coming
Right.
out of like a school that teaches product design,
Right.
then it's easier to get a job if you can go in and have a face-to-face meeting, even
Right.
if the work's going to be remote.
Right.
Um, so honestly, it's worth searching on LinkedIn for toy professionals in the Baltimore area,
Okay.
searching for toy companies that are in that area, searching on Meetup, LinkedIn, whatever, just doing a search for toy design, product design, going and meeting people because they'll tell you, all right, these are the opportunities, because the opportunities are going to be different depending on where you're at. Like
Right.
a lot of the major toy companies mostly are on the West Coast.
Right.
I mean, there's in New York, you can find a little bit of everything. So there's probably opportunities out there, but any other city, it's almost like you got to go find the locals that are in that industry in your area and then hit them up about, well, how do I get in this area? Because they're going to know shit that I don't know.
Right.
The local scene, they're going to know who are the opportunities and who to hit up. But it's worth pursuing.
Right.
LinkedIn and Meetup, and just looking. It's more about looking
Meetup.
for meetup.com, which
Okay.
I haven't used in a while, but just doing a search for people that are into toy
Just
design in your
okay.
area, because
Cool.
you'll find out they'll be able to tell you, oh, if you really want to get in, this is the way to do it from here, from this area. So
Jamilian. Is that how
yeah,
you
that's my boy Jamie, and he said, back to the comic stuff. He said, I love Rick Leonardi.
Yeah.
Recommend Green Lanterns versus Aliens and Watson and Holmes for a couple
Vic
of his lesser known
Leonardi.
work.
Did he do Spider-Man 2099?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how we got on that. James had
Okay.
mentioned that he was really influenced by that with a comic that he did,
Yeah,
and that's when I went off. And then Jamie was like, "Hell yeah, cosign."
that book was like, I remember when that came out when they was doing those different like Spider-Man 2000. They was doing all these weird like different versions of the current, like, and me, I like Spider-Man. And when they was
Mhm.
like trying to add somebody different, I'm like, what are they doing? And then when I was looking at, the work, I was like, okay, this guy he kind of nice. I like the way his style, the way he drew
Mhm.
Spider-Man,
Mhm.
and it grew on me. But it was like, now I'm like, if I see the book, I only want to see him do it.
Well, you see,
2009.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because I saw Rick Leonardi's work first. He did a couple of X-Men issues.
Right.
This was like pre Jim Lee. This was somewhere in between like the Mark Silvestri era, and they had like a couple of different artists. Like when the very first time John Romita Jr. was doing it, it was like in that late 80s, late
Right.
80s X-Men era. And I found like a couple of back issues, and Rick Leonardi had done one. I was like, this is butter.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it
so I
was
think
weird. That was like during the time when I found like him, and I was getting into like John Reader Jr. Like, I mean, because
mhm,
I liked his father, and that was like when I saw Junior, I said Junior's a little different,
mhm.
than his pops. But like, because at
Oh,
first I think he was trying to draw like him a little bit at first, and then he started kind of figuring out his own style.
well, I've read a bunch of because I love Ramita Jr. And I mean
Right,
I love Senior too, but
right.
he said in many interviews that being his father's son
It was rough.
was not a help because everyone was on his ass and be
Mm-hmm.
like, you ain't your father, you ain't shit. Like it was one of the things where
Right.
everyone was so anti nepotism that they were just
Mhm.
beating him up left and right.
No, I'm glad he decided he figured out his style, because I was
Yeah.
like, but I love them both. Like,
Mhm.
I really like what he did with that whole Daredevil series with Frank
Yeah,
Miller.
Man Without Fear was
Yeah,
fantastic. By the way, before we move on to other stuff, it's just good to hear from another person on getting some toy feedback.
yeah.
So Jamie said, I started in toys as a packaging designer. And he said it was difficult to switch, as Jeremy said, but I got some design projects under my belt as a freelancer. And sometimes you just need to do personal projects for your portfolio.
Can I ask you a question about
Sure.
that? So why is it so difficult? Like, what are they like? No, you like, it's like you start working with, like, packaging, whatever, and then like, well, I want to try some of this. Nah, you can't. You work with us. Like, is it something like that? Like,
Okay,
it's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you real talk.
Yo, you
There's
for
a
real. It's
dude.
crazy that you about to give me real talk. So it must be a real phenomenon. So
It
like, this
yeah.
is crazy, yo.
Okay. For some reason, in most creative industries, not just toys, but in most
Mhm.
creative industries, people don't artists can look at another artist and
Right.
say, "Oh, I can see what they could do there." And to
Mhm.
be honest, even art directors probably could too, but the thing is, in creative businesses, people who are hiring feel like what they see in your portfolio is all you're capable of.
Right.
And they want to see someone who does the specific thing that they need. And a
Need.
lot of that is because people aren't interested in coaching and training someone and nurturing and mentoring them so they can grow into certain things. They literally are saying, I need a hammer. I'm gonna open that
Right.
toolbox, and you better be the hammer that I need. And if I need a claw hammer, you better be a claw hammer. If I need a ball peen, you better be a ball peen.
Right.
God forbid you hand me a rubber mallet. I'm gonna kick your ass. That's kind
Mhm.
of how the toy industry is that they want people that do the thing.
That's insane.
So I mean, I know a dude who was one of the most amazing artists. Like he was an amazing illustrator.
Mhm.
He was an amazing, like he could do 3D modeling,
Mm.
but he worked as a packaging designer at one of the companies that I was at.
Mhm.
And he tried multiple times to move over to the product design side. There were people in other divisions that he worked with that said, look, you really need to put this guy on product because he's amazing. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. He had to leave and go to a different company to become a product designer. And to
That's
Jamie's
insane.
point, he got a product design job at another company with personal projects that he had designed.
Mm.
So he went and did his own stuff and said, this is what I'm capable of. I haven't been doing this
Mm.
over in my other job, but this is what I'm capable of. And they looked at it and said, okay, yeah, we'll get on board. We'll make it happen.
Mm.
So to Jamie's point, it's what would be the ideal thing is to say, all right, let's say you have an idea of what you want to do. You want to design action figures. You want to design play sets. You want to design, I don't know, toy like role play swords and guns and whatever. You make a portfolio of what you actually want to do.
Right.
and then you find the companies that make the types of things that you want to make, and you target them. You friend the people on LinkedIn, you comment on their posts. It's kind of like stalking, but the idea
It
is that
is.
it's not but the idea is that it's not about creepy, it's about genuinely building a relationship. And it's, you even say,
I'm
hey, I know that you do this thing that I'm interested in. Would you mind looking at not look at my portfolio and hire me? Would you mind looking at my portfolio and giving me feedback? That's all.
I,
And
I
because
hear
here's
you.
the thing, yeah, it
It's
takes
daunting.
it well,
I've been there. It's like I've been there,
anything,
and, and
yeah.
I'm kind of, that's why now I'm like with this whole like what you're doing, like just kind of doing
Hmm.
your own thing. So yeah, I'm like, if I mean, it would be nice to do that, but like at this point
Hmm.
right now, like, and while I'm dealing with my mom stuff, like I can just kind of work. I mean, I hear you. Everything you're saying is
Hmm.
like is dope, but it's like I've been there trying to talk and intermingle and build with people and stuff like that. And the minute when I start showing like just a little bit that I could do, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? All of a sudden, silence and no
Hmm.
no likes on my work and stuff like that. If it's
Well,
crazy
see
stuff
but again, what you're saying, that is the nature of most
of the
creative work.
company,
Because the fact of the matter is that because it's more spiritually gratifying, because lights
right?
you up inside to do it,
Right.
those jobs are they're super competitive.
Right.
It's hard to get a creative job. It really is.
Mhm.
Because most people, like, would you rather be a dentist or would you rather go design action figures? Would you rather be a lawyer or do you want to draw comics? Obviously, one is funner than the other.
Right.
So so that's why those jobs are so competitive,
Right.
and you really have to the getting the going hearing crickets once you're asking for the actual job or once you're
Mhm.
asking for feedback, that is part of the process. Because what
Mm.
you got to do is you got to push through and say, all right, this person gave me crickets, I'm gonna find the next person and the next person and the 50th person and the 100th person. And if you reach out to like 100 people just asking for feedback, not even a job, maybe 10%, maybe 10 will get back to you, 5 to 10.
Right.
But here's the thing, those 5 to 10 that get back to you, you damn sure take their feedback, reincorporate that work into it to make your portfolio better. And then you got to go back to that next 100 people again and show them the better work and say, hey, I sent you some stuff 6 months ago. I
Right.
didn't hear shit from you, but that's cool. Just so you know, here's the new stuff I got. And
Mhm.
just, you got to keep doing the cycle. And who knows? There may be somebody you might spend 2 or 3 years sending work to people, and someone who ghosted you for 3 years straight, didn't even give you the feedback, will see the most recent version of your portfolio and say, hey, this is exactly what we want. And by the way, I've been watching your growth quietly for 3 years. I see what I want now. Hey, we got a freelance gig for you. It's crazy. It's crazy, but that's and and
I just
also
want to.
James said it can take a while to make a living in a creative field.
Mhm.
Uh,
I just wanted to add too, if you guys don't mind, that I did what you were saying, and the other guy, Jamie, I think you said his name, Jamie Lynn.
yeah,
Jamie,
Jamie. Yeah.
yeah, what he was saying, because every job that I got, I mean, what I went to school for, I didn't get no jobs in. So
Mm.
every job I got was either from creating like a little business, like a
Right.
little hustle business, doing that for graphic design
Right.
and building up a portfolio. And then the jobs that I got working for like studios or whatever, it was because of me doing my freelance work and or setting up a little company that helped build your portfolio. And then you got other people, that have businesses that need work done, like the same thing for the web design stuff before it went into UI UX. I was doing the same thing there because I didn't go to school for web design or web development. All that stuff I learned from doing freelance work. So every job I done had, I would say since the late '90s, has been because of that. And the same thing with that. Like I never did package design, but I did it a couple times for freelance because somebody saw that, well, you're an artist, you do graphic design. Can you design my game? So I designed a game for someone, and if I wanted to, I could have did more of that. But the thing is if it's sort of like the video that I shared on your Discord, Jeremy. The lady was
Hmm.
talking about that she used AI to create her own job. So she learned how to use Chat GPT to take her skills and plug her resume in, and she was able to convert her skills into a new job and saw like the skills she had, and she like documented everything. So it's like you can do something similar. Take what skills you have, take your resume, and see where what you have already that will fit, that may be some relative to already the career you want to go into. Because if you can't if you can't find it, sometimes you can create it, and then you can build your own portfolio. Because they got so many ways to do stuff now, like with Fiverr, Upwork, and all these other places where you can do side gigs. Enough of them, they may not pay well, but you can build enough of a portfolio where you can say, okay, I've done this, and then you can share this with the do it for like 6 months, a year. A lot of times it doesn't require a lot of experience. It just requires how good your work is, because that's the same thing with animation and the other industries. You know, a lot of people, when it started out with 3D animation, it was not a lot of people out there doing that. So you had people going in and they had to learn how that particular environment, how to work with that environment. You know, you may know a specific tool, but you know, if you got the understanding, if you learn 3D Maya and you need to use Blender, or you need to use Max or whatever, then you can go in and learn that, because you already know how to use 3D program. All you have to do is learn how to uh, adapt yourself to their workflow. Sorry for breaking in, Jeremy. I know you was trying to say something.
No. Cook.
Mhm.
Well, here's a question, Herman. Beyond your work schedule and taking care of your moms, how much time do you have per week to do anything other than those things?
Probably, and it's crazy. I had to listen. Maybe like because I work like 5 days out of the week, and then I work at night. But you know, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things have to be get done like in the day. So it's like, um, I'll say, I'm off Mondays and Tuesdays, and then Wednesday I don't go back to work until like 11:30. So when I, over the week, I try to. I mean, Mondays I try to crash. You like when I'm,
Mm-hmm.
and get caught up. But like from that time, I have like the rest of the evening. Once I get up around like probably like 1 or 2 or something like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
have Monday night. I mean, I believe me, I done all like counted the hours, like what's available to me and how many hours can I do this, and trying to find like remote gigs. That's like um, I was even thinking about probably teaching English or something like that. Just finding something in between where I can do while I'm home, while also helping out with my moms and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
so maybe like I said, from Monday I'll say Monday after 1, and then Monday
Well,
to
I
Tuesday
mean,
all day, and then I have Wednesday up until like 11:30.
so let's say that maybe you get, would 10 hours a week be reasonable to say that's how much time you have that isn't required specifically for care for your mom
Yeah, 10.
or work?
I could say that about 10 hours. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so what kind of freelance gigs would you want to do?
I don't know. At this point right now, it's just like because uh, m- I'm I probably illustration, maybe like
Mm-hmm.
just illustration type deals, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
covers, whatever, cover art or something like that. Um, because I'm so rusty, like as far as like because like I said, I haven't really done a lot of like polished work like I was in
Mm-hmm.
school. You get what I'm saying? So like it would probably take me some time to get back,
Mm-hmm.
up to par as far as like that.
Well,
Instead of knocking out work how I was knocking work out, instead of having it take me like I don't know, maybe like a day or two, maybe something when I was knocking out maybe like 3 or 4 hours like back in the day. So I could just not, but like
mhm.
things have changed now, and I have to like.
Well, here's a thought. Um, I, for the most part, this is me. If anyone else has counter thoughts in the comments, please jump in, because I don't do a lot of commission work. It's
Right.
very rare. The only stuff I've done is people have commissioned me to design their tattoos.
Okay. Right.
Other than that, I don't usually do a lot of commission work.
Right.
That said, it's common for people to hire illustrators to do book covers, illustrating their role-playing game characters. Pet portraits are a big one. People love to hire people to draw pet. I don't know how you are at drawing animals. Can you draw animals?
No.
No?
I probably could. It's just that I haven't, I've never really focused on animals. I was always more like a character designer or something like character design or
Okay. Well, let's say that the reason why I'm saying this is because the way to get freelance gigs, and anyone can either back me up, or if they have a counter like, no, that's wrong, I ain't gonna be mad if you disagree. I want to hear all the opinions, because this isn't something that I do regularly. This is what I observe. You pick a specific market. Let's say that it's character design for mobile games, because there's tons of small mobile game companies out there. A lot of them are using AI, but a lot of them still hire artists to do the initial character designs and work it out. Or a lot of times they may have the AI do the general and then hire an artist to just clean it up in Photoshop and make it work. Point being is that you pick a market, whether it's illustrating people's characters, doing portraits, commissions, whatever it is. You pick a market and you make a body of work. And a body of work isn't like thousands and thousands. Literally, you could say your goal could be, I'm going to make 6 character designs for mobile games, because that, like, I'm speaking. The reason why I'm saying mobile games is because I'm just saying pick a market. It doesn't have to be mobile games. It could be like,
I know, I got you.
Yeah, whatever it is that you say, this is the freelance gig that I want to do. You make 6 of those pieces, and you have a portfolio. You have a Wix page that all it has on it are those 6 pieces and your email. And it says, contact me if you want me to do this for you. And what you do is
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I want you to finish.
And then what you do is you start following art directors. You start following the companies that do these things. In fact, I'll tell you what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to hop on LinkedIn. I said that you've got those 10 hours a week.
Right.
You're going to spend the first hour of that week choosing a market. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to hop on LinkedIn and you're going to search for jobs for illustrators. And you're going to look through all the jobs you can find on Illustrator for illustrators on LinkedIn. And you're going to find, what are the ones that I actually want to do? And then what you're going to do is you may go through like 500 jobs, and you may only find 3 that you're like, these are the only ones I would actually want to do. The other ones I'm either not qualified for or I have no interest in.
Right.
But you find those 3. Then you start building a portfolio for those 3 jobs. And again, let me put it this way. Realistically, a good portfolio is 10 to 12 pieces. You don't need more than that.
Right.
But what you want to do is you want to start by saying, I'm going to make 5. So you're literally going to make like half of what is a great portfolio, but you're going to make 5 pieces. And once you have those 5 pieces, you're going to start. And by the way, when you go on, are you on LinkedIn already?
Mm-hmm. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on, what's the monster.com. I have my resume already, the stuff been set up. Like, it's just there. I haven't been time that I've been in there. I was trying at one point to get a gig at what animation studio that was, but that was like maybe like a year or 2 ago. So I'm like, I just haven't really, I haven't even checked it because I just been dealing with this.
Okay. Since you're on LinkedIn, you know how it's got that thing where you can follow people even if you're not friends with them?
I've done that.
Okay. What you want to do is you want to start following the companies and the people that do the thing that you want to do.
Right.
Follow them, read their posts, see the type of work that they are because they'll either have, if it's artists, then they'll have their portfolio and you can say, all right, this is the quality that I need to aim for. Or if it's people that are art directors or recruiters, because there's a lot of recruiters for animation studios and game companies on LinkedIn.
Yeah, because one of the what animation was that? It was, I don't know if it was like a Netflix show. I don't know if it was
Hmm.
Castlevania or something like that.
Hmm.
Somebody was on there at one point, I think, and I
Hmm.
was like, oh, definitely, I can try to apply for something like
Hmm.
that, you know. But
And
Yeah.
I should put a caveat out there because I don't work in animation, but I have
right.
friends that do work in animation.
Mm-hmm.
Animation is kind of a bloodbath right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's really hard to get work. There's a lot of animators that are struggling. I don't say that because to discourage you from going after animation. I bring it up only because for animation specifically, you're probably good at it's good to use that as look at artists and art directors in animation and look at their portfolios and the type. Use that more for measuring the bar of what you want to do skill wise and portfolio wise, as opposed to work opportunities, because it's that particular industry is going through a rough time right now.
Right.
Yeah. I just wanted to add to that
Got it.
that the thing is, he had mentioned about the doing the cover art. I would say before you say if that's something you really want to do, actually spend some of that time that you said when you have free, even if you're just sketching it, when you have time free to look at some of the cover art stuff you want to do,
Right.
and see if you can do something similar, and then just spend time just actually finishing the piece and seeing if that's something you really want to do. Because you say you want to do it, and then you sit down and you do it, and then you may realize that
I don't want to do
you may
it.
really don't like it. It may be too much work. It may not be something you want to do. Plus, they got so many different things you do: comic book covers, you got romance novel covers, sci-fi novels. You have to, like Jeremy say, narrow it down, because that was another part I would say that was a weakness of my portfolio in the past, because I did so many different things,
Right.
is to have it focused, like he said. So you need to figure out, narrow down and focus down to what you want to do. So you have to really figure out, based on all this other stuff that doesn't have a knot in it, or a can't in it, that you really want to do, and say, okay, let me sit down and out all the stuff that I know I can or would like to do, figure out what you really want to do, like Jeremy was saying, and then do it. Look at some stuff that some other people have probably already done that you like doing, and then do a couple pieces and say, okay, is this something I feel like I can do? And then do all the other stuff that Jeremy was talking about, because then you can see your time spent where it's not wasted.
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jeremy. I don't
No,
know.
no. Well, you're additive. You're adding to the conversation. This is why I got you guys on. Is
Right.
to add to the conversation. It doesn't have to be just me yakking,
No, it's all good.
But by the way, Jamie was asking if you've got your IG up, or where he can check out your work.
Can I post it in the what's the name?
You know what? Post it on the Discord, and then I'll
Right, that's
put
what I
it
was
in
saying.
here. Yeah,
Right.
because if you post it in the chat, it won't let the link go. But drop it in the Discord real quick, and I
And then
will copy it over, and
should
I'll
I
post
drop it
it.
in the public live stream?
You can post it in the public live stream. By the way, Jamie, we have a public Discord for the live stream. Like, I've got a private one for patrons, but we got a public section there too. So
Yeah, I just dropped it in there. So
yeah, drop it in there, and then I'll post it in the link I'll post it in the chat for this stream. I see Dylan just showed up. And by the way, Chris asked a question like 20 minutes ago, and I forgot to answer. Yeah. Let me get Chris's question real quick. So Chris was just asking about the comic stuff I was saying. So he said, do the pictures match up with the text in the panels? So real quick, I'm going to run back to the comic stuff I was doing just for a second. So the thumbnails are what I was drawing in Procreate, the panels with the gray backgrounds. And what I'm doing now is I'm rewriting these 6 comic book panels here are representing those, and I'm rewriting the text. So all of these other text boxes that are below the first 2 panels are just left over from the old comic that this page was a template for. So I'm rewriting the dialogue to match what's in these new panels, and then I'm going to take that template and I'm going to drop that in Procreate to draw the actual comic. So that, Chris, sorry it took me so long to get there. We got into this whole career,
Right.
finding work rant, which I mean, hey, it's a topic that we could go on forever about that. There's a lot to jump into. And I see Corey's in the chat, my buddy Corey Kerr, and he says you've got co-hosts today. Yeah, we got Amar and Herman in the chat, and I've been doing a thing where anyone who's a patron, so you're welcome to hop in anytime you want to, too, Corey. Is I just have the StreamYard link on the Patreon and the Patreon Discord. So if anyone wants to jump in and just talk as opposed to typing your stuff in the comments, you're always welcome to join. Yeah, I just thought it'd be an interesting thing to try out. It seems like it's been working well. So,
Right.
Hey Herman, I think Jamelin wants, if I pronounce the name right, wanted the IG. You posted your Wix site.
oh well,
Yeah.
that's you just was saying. Well, where do you have your stuff? So,
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
all right.
Yeah.
Only
I mean,
because
I have well, my what's the name? What's the IG?
Mhm.
I don't even. I don't even know what it is. 'Cause I don't even use it that much anymore. So I'm like, it's just for real. I just stopped being on it. Like just. But yeah, that I did post the Wix though. Sorry. I
all right.
didn't-
Yeah, I'm getting ready to drop that in the chat right now.
But yeah, I see. Amar, you had posted something about Charles Rattray. Yeah, he was the guy. I had him on like my Facebook page at one point. It was Charles Rattray. It was a couple of them. Like they used to check my work too. We used to chat. Now he's a really cool dude, artist. But then there was a lot of them that was just on that BS. You know what I'm saying? Just. But he used to rap to me all the time, and then the guy that does I used to rap him all the time. Dyer I can't pronounce his name. He did the Brother Man comic books.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I
that's my
haven't
man,
seen
no,
Brother
man.
Man since I was a kid.
Right. So I was rapping to them dogs and like, you know what I'm saying? And then it was just the other ones that were like, blowing up, that was drawing Dragon Ball Z. They was they was the ones kind of running the Facebook, you know what I'm saying? They was one kind of like hating and stuff. Like it was like kind of ridiculous, but that was what's going on. But like, yeah, but he's cool. He's an amazing artist. I love his style.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if you had saw that we had a conversation last week. I think it was last week. It might have been the week before, but we was talking about. I brought up the '90s black comic artists and stuff. I had shared the link with the one of the guys that I think he probably was doing stuff back then because he's around my age.
Right.
Jeff Carroll. He's always on Facebook, but he had done some horror movies and he did like all these comics. And like I said, when I was talking about, the greatest art and all the other stuff, if you look at his stuff, like I said, I'm not trying to down what he did because he's done over 20 something books,
Right.
written like over 4 or 6 movies. 4 of them's on YouTube. And like I said, it may not be the greatest, and I don't know how big his audience is, but he's been doing it long enough to where he's still doing it. I know he teaches as well, but the thing is the point I was trying to make is he still did it.
Right.
Regardless of what I may think of it or other people may think of it, he's still doing it for however long he be doing it. I know it's got to be at least 20 years, if not longer, but he's done mostly, I think he called it hip hop horror comics, but he also does novels and stuff as well. So I shared that last week in the public live stream. I don't know if you saw that, but I just wanted to bring that up.
I don't think I did. I'm like, but it sounds familiar though. I'm like, sounds familiar.
I saw the link. I just hadn't had a chance to actually watch it yet. But and by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, I've been super quiet on both the Discord and Patreon. I've been slammed with work, like everything in the toy industry shuts down over the holidays. So I've just been slammed with work trying to get things done before the shutdown. So it's I've just been swamped with work. I haven't been able to touch comics. I haven't been able to touch. The only stuff I've done is going to figure drawing workshop, but it's been a little bit nuts lately. So hopefully I'll be able to get caught up over the next. In fact, I was looking forward to doing the writing sprints next week and the week after that. So I wanted to at least get the Patreon, live streams in before the month's out. Let's see here. Dylan is in the chat, and he said, speaking of finding jobs, I've been looking and applying for jobs, not Arts Hunter jobs, so I'm hoping to find one soon. Well, good luck on that hunt, Dylan. It is not easy. It's hard out there.
For a pimp. My bad. Yeah.
Oh, and Corey says I'll be heading to San Luis Obispo County tomorrow. Well, hopefully we can get together in person over the next week. Corey's going to be in my neck of the woods, so we'll circle the wagons offline, and hopefully we can get together for at least coffee, if not a little creative hangout time. We'll see what you're gonna be visiting families, so your time's gonna be focused on that, but maybe we can carve out a little bit of time to just chill and hang out. So it'll be good to see Corey in person.
I have a question. Do you have of course you have Google, right? I'm like, how do you download a Google document that you created and I want to put it in the public live stream? It's because it was like a video that I watched, and I was just if you can just tell me the process, and I had wrote a little bit something of it, whatever, like as far as like the help with me as far as like writing and stuff like that. It was a really good video. So I was going to post that document that I had created like earlier.
You know what? Let me go over to my because I can show you right here. Let me go over to my screen share.
As long as it's shareable, all you have to do is copy a link and paste it in the chat. That's all you have to do.
Okay.
Oh, well, there you go. You can do that.
You just got to make sure that it's something that's, because you can get a public link. They give you, when you go to the document, they give you option if you want to share it. When you share it, it'll ask you want the link.
Hold on though.
Okay.
The only reason why is because if you share the link, then you're sharing the document as it is, so it's editable. If you don't want people to go in and be able to type in it and move stuff around, then what you want to do is you want to you tell it you can export the file. That's what I was going to show you. So if you just want to export it, then what you would do is, hang on, let me go to
so I can just download it and then upload it to the I got you.
Yeah, in fact, let me go over to the if you go to just file and download, then it gives you options. You can download it as a Word document, a PDF, an open text, a plain text, EPUB. So then you just download that file, and then that file you can upload to
I
just did it. Like, so I just downloaded it, and I'm gonna just
I typically download them as PDFs, so that way it'd be a lot easier.
Thank you.
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's great if you're doing something collaborative and you share the link. That way you and all the people can go in, make notes, make comments. But if you're just saying, I just want to share this thing that I wrote, I don't want people messing with my file, download it and then post the downloaded thing to the Discord.
That's cool. I appreciate that. Thank you all.
Yeah, another thing too, a lot of times when you share a link too, you can also when they share it, because I had people share documents with me before, is it makes a copy from their drive to your drive. So a lot of times you may not be working with the original document. They'll be working with a copy as long as they have a Google account. Right. So that's another thing to note.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
My computer is lagging.
So we are getting close to the top of the hour, and I think that we'll wrap it soon because I realize I can talk to you guys while I'm drawing. Talking while writing, that is beyond my ability. And I am actually making up the dialogue. I said, well, you know what I can do though, is I can go for a little bit longer. While I'm doing this, let me just save what I've got here, and I can flip back and work on just the character design for what's his name? Hephaestus. So let me go here and
is that the Mr. T? Is that the Mr. T troll?
Yes. Let's see. Oh, wait, now I see what I gotta do. I just have to go over here and switch this from. Oh, I see. I thought that I was sharing my I thought I was sharing something that I was not sharing. So let's add this. See, I still haven't gotten used to this quick, like switching back and forth. Again, things I could do if I were on OBS, but just because I'm stubborn and don't like OBS. OBS makes it easy to switch back and forth, have all your things set up so you can go from one to another device. But just because of the way I have mine set up for the screen, it's easier for me to stop sharing and then reshare the new window. By the way, Jamie said, looking at your work, Herman, I feel you probably just need to focus on networking and maybe refining your portfolio. I tend to have 2 or 3 different sets of samples handy depending on the job. And that's a good point. Even though I was telling you, yeah, you need to focus. What I would do is I would
like I'm everywhere.
Huh?
Seems like I'm everywhere on there.
Well,
in my website.
Well, here's the thing. I would pick what I would do. I would start with one specific job and make 6 pieces that show different variations of that job. Then what I would do is I would give so every week, your goal is just working on those 10 hours a day. Like literally that's an art date with yourself. And I know that you have times when you can do thumbnails and doodle while you're at work. Maybe you get some of the thumbnailing and doodling over there and you're doing the polished work at home. So you're actually working through all of the pieces. But what I would do is in the end, like Jamie said, you want to have maybe 3 sets of 6. So set 1 is character design and you want to get 6 pieces done. When you get those 6 pieces done, then you say, all right, 1 was character design, 1 might be storyboarding, 1 might be I don't know. Again, book covers.
Right.
And for the book covers, you don't need to you can go in and say, I'm going to do a book cover for an August Wilson play. I'm going to do a book cover of Raisin in the Sun. I'm going to do a book cover of, I don't know, just whatever books, some Toni Morrison, just whatever, a book that is significant to you that you really love. Like say, what would my book cover of that be? Take your 6 favorite books and make covers of them. That alone, honestly, book covers, I would almost say because that has both graphic design and illustration in it. So those are good. Book covers are a great project. So maybe character design, book covers, and one other thing. And the idea is like each week for those 10 hours, you're working on getting 6 samples done. Now, once you have the 3 sets of 6 samples and however long that takes, maybe it takes you a month to do each portfolio. At the end of 3 months, you've got those 3 portfolios. Now, you also want to be, like I said, reaching out, sharing those pieces on LinkedIn. Make your LinkedIn post just new cover design. Share a LinkedIn post. And you keep that stuff out there. You follow people, they'll start showing up in other people's feeds. But once you get those 6 done, then you want to go back to the earliest ones, find the weakest one, and you want to make a new one. So it's always like you're trying to get rid of your weakest work and make a better one. And if you have 6 pieces that are dope, then maybe it goes from 6 to 7 or 8 in the portfolio. But in the end, you want to add to it and get it to maybe 10 or 12 pieces where all of them are bangers. Because I will tell you, even in my portfolio, not all of them are bangers. But the goal is to have a portfolio where there are 12 pieces and every single piece makes you go, damn. That goal alone can keep you busy. Remember this way, you're probably going to get work before you get to 12 banger pieces, because it's really hard to get a portfolio where every single piece is a banger. And that's the reason why I tell you to start with 6, because if I tell you to start with 12, this is no shade towards you, because this would be true for me. If I started with 12, half of my portfolio would suck.
Right.
Because I cannot have it to knock out just from scratch, make a new portfolio. I'm not going to knock out 12 bangers. I am not. That's just me being real with myself. So I'm going to try and keep my portfolio focused to, I could get, first off, even with the 6, I might be able to get 3 bangers and then 3 that don't pull the portfolio down, 3 that are like, okay, he maintained quality. That's why you're starting with the lower number, because the whole thing is you just only want bangers in your portfolio.
Right.
So you're starting with the lower number just to get to good. If you can get to the point where you have a portfolio of 3 sets of 6 and all of them have solid work, 3 bangers and 3 solid, that's enough to get you hired somebody, whether it's freelance or if there's full-time jobs available. I mean, it seems like Jamie can tell me this. I feel like the design world is becoming more and more like the gig economy. Like Fiverr is not helping with it, but it feels like it's like the Uber Eats of design. That's what the world is turning into, where everyone just wants a quick hit. Like, I mean, that's why AI art is so popular, because people are like, it's cheap, I'm just paying for the service, and I keep making edits until I'm done. They don't even necessarily want to hire a designer to do it, but there are people who look at it, and after they've spent the money on the AI and they can't get what they want, then they're willing to hire an actual illustrator to say, all right, we tried this other thing, it couldn't give us what we want, so human, you make what we want. So, and that still doesn't mean that there isn't back and forth between you and the client, and times when they're still like, it's not quite there. But there's something about the process of working with a human being that's a little bit more engaging. It's a little more human.
Yeah, I wanted to. Oh, go ahead, Aaron. I was going to ask something. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Also, I was looking at the site too, because it kind of reminds me of a real old site that I used to have, and I can't remember the name of it now, but it looks, and this is no shade or anything, but it looks kind of like a scrapbook. And I have a site like that where I got a lot of stuff that I did way back in the 90s. It's sort of like just random stuff in there. And that's what it kind of reminds me of when I look at the website.
But I mean, it's just sketching. Like it ain't nothing like. I mean, it's like not like a lot of finished pieces in it. It's just because I spend my time like just sketching a lot. So
yeah, I know. What I'm just saying is this. Why I say it remind me of like a scrapbook, because I have another site, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically like a photo site. Flickr, that's it, Flickr. I have a Flickr where I have a lot of stuff where I did photography, I did artwork, I did all kinds of stuff that I got just scrambled in there. I don't really show that as like, now I do have something. I have a Behance site. Now I was going to say that they do have more art, I would say art centered sites that you can use as free too, like Wix, because based on the URL,
Behance.
Behance,
ArtStation.
Yeah, ArtStation, Behance. It's another couple other ones that I'm familiar with too that I use. You can do it there, and the way the interface is set up, it shows your work in a different way. And especially if you're going for like artistic stuff, a lot of people that's more so familiar with that stuff, when they share it, they will be more familiar with that, because this is just my suggestion. And then what you can do is you can narrow it down, like how Jeremy was talking about, to the specific area that you want to do. Because right now, like I said, there's a lot of random stuff there, and it doesn't like narrow it down. So like on Behance, I have like different portfolios for just graphic design and other stuff. Even though it's really old now, I don't really how to use it as much because I don't do that anymore. But the thing is especially with all of the changes they've done in the web design field, now it's called UI UX, and they want to see like whole user flows and all this other stuff. So the thing is for me, if I was to try to pursue that field, I have to actually create projects like Jeremy was saying to show that, so that way I can show that I'm competent in that area, even though I know how to do it. They just added more layers to it. So the same thing with like what you want to do, you like you said, want to narrow it down and then present it in a way that when they go there, because it's another thing too. A lot of these people, a lot of them don't have time. So a lot of them are just looking at stuff that's going to grab them right away, and they're not going to spend a lot of time trying to sift through what is what. So if they got to dig through it and look through it, they want to like see it. And same thing like with the resume, they want to see like the little keywords So that's the reason why they look at your stuff. They want to see exactly what they're looking for right away, and a lot of times it's not based on it's based on that. And then also another thing is what we was talking about, I think 3 shows ago, is your network. You gotta, that was the problem I had when I was working for Accenture. you know it's hundreds, it's tens of thousands, no, it's probably hundreds of thousands of people working there. But the thing is it was all about your network, and that's all they kept saying. You got hired at the place, but you got to have network in order to get another job. And that's the same thing with artists. The people that are better at networking and opening your mouth and saying that this is what I can do, and you build up a network of people that see your work and notice that's what you can do, then it's easy to find it. But when you sit in a hole, and you're working in a hole, and you try to show stuff every now and again, nobody's not going to know what you can do until you get out and actually do it. So I don't know. I mean,
Right.
that's sort of like the same thing you gotta say for myself and other people. Is you got to get out there. That's why some people constantly go to Comic Cons, even if they don't have much. They constantly there to let people know that they're there and they're doing it. So I don't know. I just want to chime in and add that.
Word.
Well, I'll throw in another thing. As I was sitting here sketching, I was thinking about the fact that everything's overwhelming. When I hear us talking about this, I feel overwhelmed for you because
Right.
I don't have enough time to do all the shit I want to do. I haven't had any time to do any writing on my book. I haven't had time to do any like developing in terms of like selling my figure drawing work and like building it into like products that I can sell.
No,
I have all these other things. And that's aside from me not having time. I'm trying to catch up on actual paying work, like all of these things. So when I hear just the fact that between taking care of family and going to
myself.
your job,
Yeah,
and yourself,
and working late and like that, it's
yeah,
horrible, yo. I mean,
yeah,
if I could find me another job, but it's like
mm-hmm,
my whole everything has to change because it's been dedicated to that lifestyle for almost since
mm-hmm,
like 2009. Soon as school finished, I
mm-hmm,
became a caregiver in
mm-hmm,
2009 to like my father and my mother. So
mm-hmm,
like it's just been like that nonstop, and then just trying to find the time, and then
mm-hmm,
like I said, my health and stuff started like going down because of the stress of dealing with
mm-hmm,
that and like trying to do artwork and stuff. And so I just started trying to do what I could do. That was be a caregiver. So
mm-hmm,
now once I started actually feeling like art again, maybe like in the last year and a
mm-hmm,
half, started sketching again. I'm like, I'm trying, but at the same time, I'm still, getting over like complications of health issues that I was having.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, it's a rough thing to deal. But I mean, in time, I guess, and hopefully, I have
mm-hmm,
been consistently like, working on like the writing aspect or trying to get information on how to write. And like I said, I just put that Word document up there so like people can check it out if
mm-hmm,
they want to. Um, that helped. Like I said, looking at your video also helped. So like, um getting to the point where I can start probably beginning like I said, the writing process, so hopefully. And then I'm gonna probably maybe soon I'll probably start doing some character designs, but like, you know, I might, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
But right now it's just kind of like I just want to work on the the story aspect of it and getting all that together. And like I said, the wisdom I just found, like I think that document with
mm-hmm,
from the video, the guy like he wrote like a lot of movies and stuff like what movies and stuff. So I was like that. I think the way he broke it down would kind of like help that out a whole lot. Just because I'm a visual learner and I can probably
mm-hmm,
well actually the other video I wasn't able to do that in time because I had did like a little sheet that I had
mm-hmm,
left at work and I was going to like present it, today, like, but it's like I forgot most of her information, like, but like what I can do is like when I'll get that, I can rewrite it because I left it at work. So hopefully nobody at work throws it away. It was a lot of work that from me watching those videos and stuff like that. So hopefully I can get that and I can redo the Word document for that. So I can.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just
Well,
wanted to mention that those past 16 years you just brought up, far as like what you've been doing for your parents and everything. I think it'd be therapeutic, and then another part that you can add to your writing experience is to write that out, what happened, because that can be a story. You can turn that into
that Amar, bravo.
Who would
That's
care?
actually, believe it or not. Wait, Herman, I gotta tell you,
who would care about what? I mean, I could tell all kinds of stories about what brothers or whoever.
It don't have to be literal.
I got you,
Herman. I gotta tell you, there are so many people who are caregivers, especially caregivers for aging parents. I know that even like I've had to deal with it with my family, and I'm going to have to, knock on wood, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to deal with it more in the future. It's gonna eat up more time in my life, but I've had to deal with it. I've watched my bosses at different jobs have to deal with it. There was a woman at a company I used to work with who ended up leaving the company because she had to fly back and forth across the country to care for her mom, and the company just would not let her go. This was pre-COVID. They would not let her go remote.
Right.
So she had to leave the company. The point is that I know that you feel like you're just living your life and it's not important. No one cares. It is important. People do care. And the fact of the matter is you sharing that struggle of just living your life while taking care of your family will help other people who also feel like no one cares. It will help them feel seen. I honestly 110% believe this. You will get 1,000,000 times more people following your work, telling the story of struggling to be a creator while being a caregiver than anyone will about my story about fucking Greek myths and fantasies. And, okay, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass,
right?
And honestly,
don't get me wrong. The Lucifer story, that's still dope. I'm sorry, like it's still dope. I still like it. That's some dope stuff.
And Corey also added in there, and Dylan said he's a caregiver as well.
Wow.
But and Corey mentioned his former co-hosts from the Artcasters, Joshua Kimball. His book, two stories. Struggling being a caregiver, and even in this chat, Dylan's talking about he was a caregiver for his mom and dad from 2012 till this year. Wow. Just in this chat, it's resonating with people way more than any fantasy story that I have.
No,
so like when you're talking about stuff that you're struggling with writing, Amar, dude, you are spot on. Like Herman, just write down just an event that happened, a funny thing, sum it up in a couple of panels, and just make a simple comic strip of that, and do it in stick figures. Don't do it polished. Do it in the style like where you were doing those He-Man and Samurai thumbnails. Just do it rough and write it down and post it as a comic on Instagram. And do another. Like, I promise you, people will reach out and just, you're doing something that affects people. And you may not think about that, but what it is that it's about people being seen. You may not feel seen right now, but there's so many people like you who also don't feel seen. And you doing work about that will give people a voice. They'll follow your work simply because they're like, yes, I remember going through that. I remember the first time I had to change my parents' diaper. I remember what it felt like, feeling helpless while you're watching your parent going through something where that they're struggling, and you're like, oh yeah, it breaks my heart to see the people I love feeling helpless, and I feel helpless to help them. All of the things and the emotional challenges and struggles that a caregiver
or being angry, or being stuff like being angry about them being sick, because it's like, that's a part of life. That I had to I didn't want my father to be at the time when he was alive. I didn't want him to be sick, but he was sick, and he went from one point to it. You know what I'm saying? He went from one point from being able to not being able, and going through that whole process was like a mind thing. Like, it just kind of messed you up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. This is what your portfolio is gonna be 3 things. One is an autobio comic about you being a caregiver, and you don't need to finish the whole thing. Just do it 3 or 4 panels at a time. That's it. That's all you need to do, is just do 3 or 4 panels at a time, but keep doing it. Your portfolio is going to be an autobio comic about your parents. It's going to be book covers, and it's going to be character design. And you're just going to keep doing that. And I promise you, if you can just dedicate 10 hours a week, which, and by the way, 10 hours a week to do personal work is a lot. Like anybody, Corey will tell you, like, I don't have kids and I can't find 10 hours a week to do stuff. Corey will tell you, as somebody who's, worked as, he's an educator, he's a parent, and a husband, like I'm surprised, I'm just amazed at how much he's able to put work out. 10 hours a week, I don't have 10 hours a week to do stuff. So the fact that you can do that, just stay with it and keep putting work out there. And I can't tell you what the job is, but I'm going to tell you that putting your work out there will create opportunities for you.
And I'm going to say this too, because I used to work in the accessibility field, and I still consider myself an accessibility expert. Right. Everybody is going to at one point be either disabled or you're going to actually get to the point where you're going to need to have some sort of help with something. Either it's going to be with your sight, your mobility, your dexterity, right. Something, and you're going to lose it. So we live in an age where you have you still got some of the boomers around, and you got the Gen Xers. All of them are going to be needing probably care, because the Gen Xers, we are over 50 and going, and then you got a lot of the either millennials or the generation Z. Those are the ones that are becoming caregivers as well. So what I would say is, you got a lot of different ways you can go with it. You can go with as far as the drama route, where it hits more home, or you can go the comedic route and make sort of like a comedy out of it, and they can be comedy shorts. So whereas you can take your situation and make light of it, and it can be almost like a back and forth sort of thing. Like you see some of these little stick figure things you probably saw on social media, right? And you can it'll be a little bit less scripty, and it can be more a situational, and you can make a comic out of that, and it can be something that'd be like 1 to 2 or 3 panels, so like how you had the Love Is or the little comics that you get in the newspaper that you used to see every week when we was growing up. So I mean, it's a lot of different ways you can go with it, but I think that with most people, and I'm pretty sure the writers like Stephen King and other people can pull from it. That's how they build a universe. A lot of people that write pull from either experience, either like me, I'll say dreams, life experience, and then the more you do it, the easier it comes, and you'll see stories in everything, and that's why, like I told you, I had the story that I created for being on the bus. I had like a whole soap opera that was a comedy from being on the bus. You can pull from everything, and then that, like I said, it'll be therapeutic to you as well, and it may be easier for you to write because it's something you directly correlate to. Right. It may not be abstract as a detective story or something else that you're working on, and you can probably even turn them into characters. Because every hero has a backstory. So it's a lot of different ways you can go with that. All you do is just explore your mind, just be creative with it, and just go with it.
Right.
I was gonna say, I don't think that you necessarily need to choose between humor or drama. I think that all you need to do is tell a story that feels emotionally true, which means it doesn't need to be exactly what happened or how it happened. It could even be fictionalized characters. It doesn't need to be you and your family. You can make them into characters, but all that matters is that it's something that feels emotionally like what the experience feels like. So it's not like beat by beat what happened, but it's just what it felt like to you.
Right.
That's all you need to tell. And if it ends up going back and forth between humor and drama, I think that actually is probably better and stronger. But what I think isn't important. What feels right to you is what's important. And that's really hard when you're trying to make decisions and all you're want is for someone to tell you, well, what's right.
Right.
And no one can tell you that. Only you can tell you that.
Right.
But I really, really wholeheartedly mean it when I tell you that what you've experienced is important. And just by sharing that, you may not feel like it's important, but I'm telling you so much, so many people will relate to your experience.
Hmm.
Corey
Maybe.
mentioned that he shoots for 5 to 10 hours a week and doesn't always hit it, but he doesn't do more than that.
Okay.
That's a lot, man. That he's doing plenty. And he also said Mouse by Art Spiegelman. He says is a good example of that because
Mouse.
that's not,
What is
huh?
what was that story based off of? Oh well, wait,
That's
I think I saw
that's
that. That's like
that's it's Art Spiegelman.
is it the Holocaust or something like
Yeah,
that?
it's
The
about the
mice?
Holocaust, and it's him, his experience. His father is kind of experiencing dementia in his old age, and Art Spiegelman realizes as his father's getting older, now's a good time for him to get down all of the stories of what his father went through. So it's basically it's an autobiographical comic, but he did the whole thing where it's, in fact, let me see. I think I have my copy here. Hang on. Where is
Yeah, it's kind of like a thing I was trying to get my mom to do. Kind of just like, you know,
Oh, yeah, here
have
it
like
is.
Was
write
that the
something.
one where it has like a mouse on it and it's like
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hang on. Let me
the
switch
area?
to big screen just for a second. Yeah, this is it.
Okay. Yeah.
And for those who have not read it, this is an amazing book. It's
Really.
got humor in it. There's funny stuff that happens, but it is one of the most powerful books I've ever read. I read this in high school, and it was just one of the most moving stories. So it's basically the story of of not just a Holocaust survivor, but an Auschwitz survivor, somebody who survived the camps. And Art Spiegelman is the son of an Auschwitz survivor, and he goes to his father and he basically asks his father to tell him his story of everything, how it went down, his experience in the camps, everything leading up to it. But they do the whole story with the Jews are as mice and the Nazis are cats,
Mhm.
which my wife would hate because we're cat people. But it's an amazing book. It's amazingly well drawn. It's amazing storytelling. It's moving. It's powerful.
I
Well,
mean,
that goes to Corey's point about how if you didn't feel comfortable doing a straight autobiographical comic, if you wanted to make it fantastical in any way, shape, or form, it's your story to tell however you want to tell. And I know that sometimes having too many options makes things even harder because you just spin your wheels in terms of how many choices are available, and it's like you're like, well, what's right, what's right. um it's possible for you to start doing the story one way and then start halfway. You may get a couple of pages in, decide, you know what, I think I am going to fictionalize it, or I am going to make everyone in this into a creature or an animal. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to make up whatever rules you want to make as you're going. And if you make up the rules and it changes halfway through, so be it. If you do the whole thing and then you decide that you want to go back and change it so that it all lines up so it's fictional all the way through, you can go back and redo early pages, or you can go through and decide, you know what, I want it all to be realistic and make everyone's name true. There's another artist, Eddie Campbell, the guy who drew From Hell, that Alan Moore comic that they made the Johnny Depp movie out of.
was that From Hell?
From Hell,
I know what you're talking about. I know
the
what you're
one
talking
about Jack the Ripper.
Right, right. I thought at first I was mixing it up with the Sam Raimi movie when when the with the girl.
Oh, that's Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was a good ass movie.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But From Hell, the artist Eddie Campbell also has an autobio comic that he did, or that I don't know if he's still doing it, but it's called Alec. And the reason why it's called Alec is because even though his name is Eddie, when he started it, he didn't do it as himself. He started it where the character that was him had a different name, and it was one of those changing the names to protect the innocent type stories. But after, like, that's another book that I actually have, and it's worth grabbing just so I can show you where how big this book is. Let me see.
Yeah, the whole reason why I brought that up.
The reason why I'm grabbing it is because this thing is as thick as a Bible.
Okay.
This book is huge. It is massive. But it's called Alec, The Years Have Pants. And it's like a collection. It's an autobio comic, but it's like a collection of his life. It is bigger than like one of the Dave Sim phone book comics. And he started out with it as sort of a fictionalized life where he fictionalized his name, the names of the people in his life, because, you know, to protect people. But at a certain point, he just said, fuck it, and started just being him. Because
Right.
it covers the creation of From Hell, it becoming a movie. All of that is in here. Him going to the movie premiere is in here in the book. Like it's his life story as a comic. So you can start doing it fictionalized and change it to something where it's just your life. You can go back and forth. I think that we get a little bit, the more I'm doing this, the more I realize I'm getting too caught up in rules, and rules are stopping me from just making the thing. And I tell you this because I don't want you to get caught up the way I'm getting caught up. I want you to just be able to create, just pure creation, just make and tell stories and share with the world.
And I think too, like I said, once you start doing it, you'll find a whole bunch of stories. Like I had shared this picture that I did with Jeremy a while ago of this when I was a kid, and I forgot how young I was, but it was in like the little row house or whatever we used to live in back when I was a child. I used to see this lady sitting on the toilet when I would get up to go use the bathroom, and I would turn on the little light in the hallway and run down to the bathroom. But I always see this lady in there, and she would like wave to me. And I created a character. It's called a toilet witch, and I found out that there is an actual toilet witch in Asian in the Asian Asian mythos. And they got, I forgot the different names, but they got different names. But it's, and then I also found out, my mom told me that someone had died, a lady had died in that apartment, and she said that my sister had seen somebody in the apartment. One of my sisters, not, it's like the one was right under me. So there's another story right there, and to me that sounds like a story of a horror movie origin.
Right.
So, like I said,
What? You horror movies? Good imagine.
yeah, you know, I know you be funny, but yeah, that's it's you. Once you start digging and you start doing it, you find out there's a lot. It's a writer in you. There's a lot of stories you got to tell. You just gotta just start doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there was something I was gonna, before we got into the thing about the caregivers, which I think is way more important. I was gonna say that in the way that you'll sometimes find time to sketch at work, I was gonna say that, like, I'm sitting here and I'm doing thumbnails to kind of work out character poses for this character for my book. The idea of doing book covers, you could just take, I don't know, whatever book you decide to do. Like I'm reading a vampire book called Necroscope by this British guy. And the cover of that book is like a big, like demonic skull with vampire teeth.
Right.
But if I were going to come up with my own cover, I would probably like just start with just doing thumbnails and say, all right, I know a cover image that I know that the cover image that it has is very striking because the book, I remember seeing it when I was in high school, and even then it caught my attention. I just never started reading it, and I'm reading it now. But I would probably start with kind of trying to come up with a weird like I would come up with sort of a new logo for it, and I would start, it talks about, you know, it's a book about it's about vampires, but it's also about someone who can speak with the dead. So I would probably try to just come up with, my point is not what I'm drawing, it's that I'm sitting here thinking on paper and saying, all right, well, maybe I would do this weird ethereal ghostly, you know, like lines spinning out of energy, and have sort of a person, a young man who could basically, it's kind of like if Harry Potter's power instead of magic was talking to the dead, That's really what the book is about.
Yeah,
And
you look at. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, all I was going to say is that time that you're spending where you're able to thumbnail at work, you can use that to do like whatever ideas you have for the new portfolio, which I'm so excited about the caregiver stories. I think you should lean hard into that. But you may be like, I want to do some character designs.
I
And
mean,
maybe,
yeah, I mean, because I'm like I dealt with that for so much. It's like I'm still in the midst of dealing with it. So it's like I can't really see anything of me being happy about it or even doing artwork about it because I'm like I'm still in the midst of it. I'm still
But
going.
that's where a lot
You
of
know what I'm saying? I'm
artists.
still going through it.
That's what a lot of artists do their best pieces though. Because if you look
I
at a lot of
mean,
artists,
I don't know. I mean, I'm not, not trying to be jacked up, but I'm just like, yo, that's me.
it's
I'm going
raw
through
and it's fresh right now. So you may
right.
not be in a place where you can talk about it.
Well, I don't think well, it's just like I don't know if I could even I don't even think I would ever feel like that because then this the thing with me is like I'm always worrying about other people's feelings. Like I don't want to be writing something. I mean, I understand what you were saying, like probably I can make other different people make different characters or something like that. But my thing is like I'm like with me, I'm like, yo, I shoot straight from the hip, yo. Everybody in my family, they know how I roll. So like they gonna probably like, oh, that's me. Yeah, that's probably is you. You know, it's just
Well,
that's
you
what
know
I'm
what?
saying.
Then that's a strong argument for fictionalizing everybody. It really, I'm
Right.
not joking. That's the number one. That's the reason. In all the examples I talked about before, that's a big reason why the people fictionalize things. Is simply because
Right.
they didn't want people in their real life to
Right.
be hurt, to be angry,
Yeah, I mean, now
to
because
not want to be. Because
right.
you also, yeah, they don't want you spilling tea about the family.
Well, it's just like I regardless of like I feel like people do the things they do, which I don't understand because I'm not that type of person. It's just that I'm like I still have respect and stuff like that. Regardless that I feel like I've been been disrespected. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I still try to show that form of humanity. But I always still try to be because I'm like I look at it this way, like it's crazy like how when people depict like Superman and it's like and I'm not saying I'm Superman, but just the fact that it's like they try to make him as human as possible, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, like it's just that he can never do no wrong because he's Superman. So when every time it's crazy, like when people do things that's just out of ordinary, it's like it's okay for him to do things out of ordinary. For Superman, he can't do that because he's Superman. Because they always
a
look
lot of
towards
times Superman does do a lot of wrong.
yeah, but they try to make him, I mean, that's the only way that they could do to try to
I
make
know
him.
he's the
You
Boy
get what I'm
Scout,
saying?
but when you look at it from other people's perspective, which is Batman is always putting him in the
Right.
line for, he does do a lot of wrong for him because he's already an alien and he has
exactly.
like power, so he can easily crush and kill, which actually scares a lot of people. But I was saying the whole thing is there's a lot of artists, and if you ever listen to artists, a lot of times they put all their pain into their if you listen to fine artists, a lot of them put a lot of pain into it. If you ever listen to somebody do poetry, a lot of them do the same thing. So a lot of times with art, a lot of people do use art as a way as therapy too. So
I got you. It's like, but see, that's the thing about it is, it's me. I'm a very introverted person. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't. It's like, and I don't know. It's just, it's weird. Like I never felt like I can put like stuff like that in my art, even though I could. But
why
it just,
you felt that way? You're an artist.
Well, wait, hold on.
But it's like you just negating like who I said I was. You get what I'm saying? Like that's
no,
crazy.
I'm not negating.
Hold
what
on.
you're saying.
Hold on.
I'm saying you're an artist. You
Yeah,
do
I
what you
know.
want.
I got you. I got you. I got
Hold
it.
on. Hold on. Here's the thing. It's just because a person's an artist doesn't mean that they are entitled to put out their experience in the world, and it doesn't mean that they're comfortable putting out their experience in the world. It's your nature to express, but what you choose to express is very personal and individual. And I think that it is reasonable to want to protect yourself emotionally in deciding what you do and don't express.
Well,
I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah, because I'm like, I feel like as far as like me, I can write anything about, you know, and express that about me. But
Mm-hmm.
when you talking about like people that's involved and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, I mean, like, you know, that's to me that just feels different because like now I feel like I'm talking about somebody behind their back. You get what I'm saying?
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, to me,
Well,
we all have pain and stuff from my past. Because if I
Right,
was to go into my past, I got a lot of trauma too, even
right,
at my age that I haven't dealt with. I mean, I would say that probably for most people with
right,
our backgrounds or whatever. But you know, if I want to write about it, it's my interpretation of it. So I'm open to it. I know, like you said, you may not be comfortable with it, but the thing is, I feel like for me, at some point, if I'm gonna tell stories, at some point that story is gonna come out because
right.
I need to leave it behind me. The more we live in it and dwell in it, a lot of times it just cause more uh it caused more health issues, it caused more problems. And the thing is, if we never get beyond it, then we constantly live in it and we can never get past it. And that's something that my mom always told me, like, well, you know, forgive your father for what he did or whatever, that's in the past. But the
Right.
thing is if you never had conversations and they never acknowledge that all this stuff that you have, the traumas that you have from and all the failed relationships, because you can look at your family. A lot of people, it may not be the same for your family, but I barely talk to anybody in my family.
Yeah, me too. Right.
So
So
I'm just saying,
it's
even
just
though I do caregiving for my father and stuff like that, but the thing is it's a lot of fractured relationships. And
right,
for me, I
right.
feel like that created a lot of different stories, especially for me
But
originally being an introvert. And then I started creating my own stories, my own characters, and all that stuff based on that, even though I never actually told the stories.
you see, I think because of the situation I'm in, also caused like a lot. That's a lot of fractured stuff going on that haven't been resolved because it's like some of it is like it's pointless because it's still going on, you know. And then I've
well,
been the one in the midst of like dealing with like the situation, you know what I'm saying? And it's like
mhm.
it ain't just me. I have siblings, you know, but at the same time they have problems too. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, that's
Well,
crazy.
here's but
Yeah,
well,
they
here's
got
this
problems
is
too. I'm like, yo, you got problems? Come on now.
this is what I'm getting at, Herman, is from what I hear from Amar is that it's like bump everybody, you got to
Yeah, I
tell
hear.
your
Yeah. Oh,
truth.
I hear him. I
But
definitely hear him.
I mean, what I propose is not the correct answer. This is one of those listen to the note behind the note.
Right.
But you could literally, in the idea of having a caregiver, you could do a story about robots and robots that are getting older and falling apart,
I
and
got
they
you.
need other younger robots to maintain them and to
Right.
salvage pieces, and some parts are rusted and some
See,
parts are irreplaceable
see,
and they're
I'll do that.
gone. Yeah,
I
I
could do
mean,
something like that. Yeah.
and the point is, I'm not telling you make your story a science fiction story about
I got
robots
you.
as a metaphor.
I know. I got
But
you.
what I am saying is you can find a metaphor. And one of the things a lot of times people will do in stories is they will intentionally swap the genders of characters
Mm-hmm.
so that people who would think, oh, that's totally me. Well, if that character is a different gender, then they're like, oh, well, that can't be me. Because they're not people who don't write don't think about the idea of just changing the gender, making it a simple mask. But that's very simply a very easy way to make characters unidentifiable, or as they call it, scrubbing off the serial numbers.
Right.
And so the point is I don't want to lead you to what is the right metaphor, but I do believe that if you sit with the idea for a little while, I think you can find something that you would actually be excited. Let me put it this way: the whole He-Man thing. Let's say it's literally you're making up a story about a fantasy prince who turns into a barbarian, but whatever he's fighting is a metaphor for being a caregiver.
Right.
You could take the things that you are excited about and you can do it as a fantasy story. You can do it as a science fiction story. You can do it as a ghost story. You can do anything. The point is that right now, the people in your life and the fact that you're going through it feels like a roadblock to your creativity. And what
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
saying is you can use creativity to create a way around that roadblock. You can literally take that entire roadblock. Let's say that roadblock is like a big boulder in the road. You can creatively change the story so that whole roadblock just gets lifted up and moved out of the road. It's not about having to wait until you're in a place where you can tell the story. It's about changing the story into something that you are ready to talk about now.
Yeah, you need a fireworks button or you know, because that's and then Paul also mentioned the metaphor abstraction. I totally agree with it's the thing is you got to get it out of your system because otherwise you're gonna keep living in it. It's like you're in quicksand and it's like, well, somebody got to help me out of this quicksand, but I got to stay in the quicksand because I'm helping other people that's in the quicksand. But you got to get out of the quicksand, so you gotta actually tell the story in whatever way you want to tell it. Just so that way it can kickstart your creativity in other areas, because like you said, you say, well, I'm not a writer, I'm not this, but you are because you got a story. Everybody got a story. If you tell that story, if you just sat down and just got your phone and then just said like maybe one excerpt of the story, you can take that story and illustrate it, in whatever form you want. You can that may be the easiest way to start, whereas you don't have to worry about writing nothing down. You can just get your recorder, use your microphone, and then just record yourself talking about what happened, just one situation, and then just look at that and say, okay, well, how could I tell this as a story? Because then you already have all of the dialogue and you already have the experience. You can visualize it and you can just turn it in a way where it can become abstract or a metaphor, like Jeremy's saying. So anyway, we're just trying to
Let's see. Yeah. Amar, the thing I want you to hear is that it's not always about whatever it is that's a problem. It's not a problem. Sometimes you just gotta nurture people through challenging things, because to just say just do it,
right,
there's a lot of reasons why that isn't practical or why it's maybe just emotionally scary.
No, it's like I believe me. I'm like I appreciate you. Like I hear it. It's like it's the other part of me that's like that feel that, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes I react in a way like that, but then it's oftentimes when I do, it doesn't come off the right way. When I'm like, oh man, because like I try to be conscious about like how I come at people, because and I'm like a 6'3" tall black man. I ain't trying to scare everybody. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you also said that you shoot from the hips.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
Yeah, so since you shoot from the hip, then you want honest feedback. Not sort of like catering to the ego part, because we need to remove the ego part and just say, hey, you say just do it. Because the thing is the same thing you want from other people. I like when I was growing up, if I had people tell me, well, just do it. It's like, yeah, it may sound hard, but even to the people that I mean, I'll take Michael Jordan for instance. I'm pretty sure for him, it was hard for him, but then he just drilled that into the people for them to be excellent on his team, and they became excellent. Right. So the thing is if you don't have nobody in your life telling you, you can be excellent, then you never believe you can be excellent. Right. You gotta have somebody pushing you. And I wish, when I was a kid, that was drilled into me. You can be excellent. Just do it, and then you have somebody behind you pushing you, and then you can look at them. If you had other people that's mentoring you that was better than you, saying, okay, this is what you need to do. Just get in there and do it. And then, they see you, struggling. They may give you a little hint there to do this and do that. But the thing is you can't have people calling you, because otherwise, if they call you your whole life, then you never really will get to where you need to get to. Because the thing is, we'll go to this boss or whatever, this other person, they'll tell you what to do, and you listen. Otherwise, you won't be working. So the thing is if you can tolerate that from someone else that you may not even care about, just because they get a paycheck, then we should be able to do it for ourselves.
Right.
Dylan also mentioned a book called When a Monster Calls, and it says it's a book about a kid losing a parent to cancer.
Never
So
heard
there's
of
a
it.
lot of great stories out there. And Jamie, I'm gonna skip over that other quote because Jamie threw out an idea and he says, "Oh man,
He
I'll
gonna
write
keep it
that
to
last
himself.
one pretend you didn't read this." But Jamie, go for it. That idea you threw out in the chat is dope. I'll see if I can find a way to delete it from the chat because I think you should do it, man. Let me see.
Right.
Does this?
What, the one where it says it could be
Yeah,
as
that one.
simple as
I want to
opposed
see if it says, okay, it says delete comment, and I don't know if this will delete it from the actual stream, but I'm going to try and delete it just so that Jamie can keep that in his back pocket. And by the way, Paul, I see Paul Pate joined the chat, and I know you had some health issues you were dealing with, man. I'm glad to see you here. I hope that you are doing well. I hope you are healing up. It's good to see you, man. And let's see here.
Yep, I deleted.
Yeah, yeah, it just disappeared. So that one is off into the ether, Jamie. Everyone else, you know what, Jamie? It might be that you can still read it because you're the one that typed it. For everyone else, they say that the comment disappeared. Oh yeah, and Paul is saying, "Preach, man. That's how I got my books done. You got to commit to it."
Right.
I mean, I relate to being overwhelmed by having a lot to do, and the main thing I would say for you, Herman, is just what you need to commit to is a creative date with yourself.
Right. Oh
Meaning
no, I
that,
remember I had that conversation with y'all last week about how I felt
Mhm.
like I was disrespecting art, which is my girlfriend.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like believe me, that's something that I'm really working on right now. You know, try to get back into and treating it like I should treat it because
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like I felt like I've done a lot with it, but at the
Mhm.
same time I still feel like I'm half stepping with it. And I'm like, nah, I need to treat it better than that, you know, especially if I want this to be long term, you know, long
Yeah.
term relationship. So
Well, I mean, like I said, a big part of this is deciding what you want to do because I, like you, am trying to do multiple things at once.
right,
And I struggle with that. So I'm saying, when I tell you that I'm encouraging you to lock into like those three things for your portfolio and making the comic one of the three things. And I honestly, I think that you need some time, whether to just be on the bus or on the train thinking while you're into work. You need some time to just have some music on and just think
I
and just
need
feel, because
I need a
I
vacation
think,
that I've never had. That's what I was saying. I need a vacation. I never had a
well,
vacation.
but
So
you here's the thing. You can't wait on a vacation because life isn't giving you a vacation. But what you
right,
can do is take moments out of every day when you are not, when you're doing something like moving from one place to the other. Like when you're on public transportation, that's a time when you can sit and meditate on what you want to do. Because, like you said, you're still in kind of a writing phase. And I
mhm,
think that I truly believe there's a path for you to use your experience struggling with being a caregiver
right,
and struggling to be creative while being a caregiver. I believe that there is a path for you to use that to build a story around. And let me put it this way. I also think that you don't have to choose between doing an autobiographical story and doing a fantasy story. You can do them as two separate stories, and the fantasy story can have all of the wild and out stuff. The autobiographical story can be one where you really do edit it to make sure you don't bring up stuff with other people. And all the other thing is,
right.
how many people in your life would even know if you were doing an autobiographical comic if you didn't show it to them?
I mean, I don't know. It's thing about because I'm the type of person and I'm like very much an introvert. It's like it's weird. Like the people that's in my family, they don't want to, you know, talk about anything. But the minute when it's like, but when you go around other family functions with them, all of a sudden, like you hear someone, hey, like, hey, what's up? Hey, I heard about something. Like you like, and you know, they got the information from my mother. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, I haven't heard from you in like, I don't know, maybe 14 years, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff like that. So
Well, if
it's
you kind of think about it, Spider-Man is kind of a caregiver
Yeah.
Oh
I,
yeah, he's constantly taking care of Aunt May.
and I tell you this, you got a story right there where
Then he killed her in the movie.
you can you can create your own mythos within that. Whereas
right.
you have, I give you two scenarios. You have a scenario where, and this is something I had thought of too. It was kind of like a a dream thing that I had, where uh, the artist can create like his own worlds where he can draw, and then he actually becomes part of those different worlds he can go into. This is like another idea I didn't explore, but I was saying with yours, you have one where you can be an artist who's a caregiver that has like this other sort of like secret life going on. That can be one scenario, whereas that can give you the idea where you can create a whole like superhero mythos uh, with that, and these can be all different characters, and you can take all the different characters and like we said, either make them as a metaphor, and you can make them, each person that you care for, sort of like a superhero, whether you see them as a good person or a bad person or whatever. And you can make these all into characters, and that may give you an easy way to build like this universe around it, or you can just do a direct like sort of like story based on it, um, and just go your own way with it. But I just think that the easy scenario probably just be just to talk about it, just talk it out. Even if you get off here and you say, okay, for 10 minutes I'm gonna just talk about one of my experiences, and then you may build up a whole library of that, and then you can say, okay, well, let me listen to a couple of these things and see what sounds good, maybe some I can use and maybe make into an actual story, and draw some from that. I don't know, I'm just throwing out ideas since we're having this conversation.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let me toss in there some comments from the chat here as well. Corey said, commit to 30 to 90 minutes at a time. He said, if you got a flow state, write it out, take breaks and stretches, get that in 4 to 7 days a week, and you're gold.
It's weird. Yeah,
And
go ahead.
Paul, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, it's weird that I have like flow states when I'm here in the house. I don't have that here because I think of, when I'm here, I think of work. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, work as far as like being a caregiver. You know what I'm saying? When I'm at work, sometimes it'll happen. That's why I try to, like, if I'm feeling like I'm being what is it, inspired, like, and then I'll try to write and try to sketch out like ideas and stuff while I'm at work, when I'm there, but like when I'm here, I'm like, nah, not really. I don't even feel like, it's like, even though I need to create this space that this is where I'm going to be drawing at,
I had a similar experience, when I was away from home, and
Right.
and I was helping out my family, and I even did a live stream from down there. I found it really hard to do any personal creative work, because my mind literally is about, are their meds organized?
Right.
How is their pain level right now? Are they sleeping
Right.
okay? When do I need to get the next meal?
Right.
My brain was completely absorbed with their care. So the fact that you have that difficulty being that the only time that you're able to be creative is when you are away from that environment, even though you're at quote unquote work, you're not quote unquote, but when you're at the job, your brain is no longer being eaten by this thing that you constantly need to do. That's real. It's real. I'm not telling you like brush that under the rug. I'm saying,
I know, I got
that's
you.
part of what you're going through.
Right.
I hear it and I see it, and I've experienced it. So when you say that makes it hard to work at home, I get that. That's real.
Yeah, it is.
Paul Pate says, I will say, we have to have some breathing room to create. My life didn't have any room for creating for a long time. And let's see here. Dylan also said to piggyback off of Corey's comment, start drawing or writing while your coffee is brewing, while your TV dinner is cooking. I said this might be gross, but you could even write and draw on the toilet. You know what? Wherever you can get the shots in, man.
Yeah. Literally, like.
Paul says no drawing on the toilet. See, the only reason why I wouldn't draw on the toilet is not because I think it's gross. It's because I would get so sucked into the drawing that my legs would get numb and fall asleep on there. I don't want to do that.
Right.
All right. Guy, I think we got into some really deep stuff here, but we're like on the
Word.
verge of 2 hours and we gotta pack it in.
It's all good. Yeah, I'm about to go eat my dinner
Yeah.
and get to work.
Let's see here. Paul says, I started working full time for my art studio. And
Congratulations.
you said I got doing art in my studio, or I felt guilt doing art in my studio. I don't know. I mean, I think everyone creative feels a certain amount of guilt at time not spent with family when we know people want to spend time with us, and we're like, I
Mhm.
just need everyone to go away for a little bit. And it's a tough balance when you both love people and you need silence.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
hard. It's real hard. And
Yes, it is.
and I've heard other people say that work-life balance is a lie. It's an illusion. And all you can do is when life needs you, you have to show up for life, and work
Right.
suffers. And
Yeah.
when work needs you, life suffers. And when you the thing is, work, life, creativity, when you're not being creative for your day job, then it's like you have work and then life and creativity suffers. Then you have creativity and life and work suffers. And you have life and then work and creativity suffer. Like all of it, it's all the same thing, where I think what all of us are trying to say is that all of us are encouraging you and rooting for you and telling you, be persistent and accept, but don't beat yourself up
Right.
because when you don't have the bandwidth, because we all know there's going to be times when you don't have the bandwidth, because we're all saying that we're all sharing this struggle, the struggle
Right.
you're going through. And that's one of the reasons why I think that doing something around your experience, however you do it, is going to be powerful, because we hear it and we're rooting for you, and you're doing something about it's universal. And I think the
Right.
stories that everyone can relate to are the most powerful ones. And I
Yep.
know it doesn't seem like it's important to you,
Right.
but it really is, man. You can touch a lot of people.
I hear you. I hear y'all.
Good,
I
good.
hear everybody. Yeah.
The chat is here for you, man. The chat is here for you. Everyone is chiming. Like, this is the most the chat has come in, and
And
like of
definitely, my
any
man, hey,
stream.
Paul, like I appreciate everything y'all saying. So
Yeah, and they're coming in to tell you, we hear you, we feel you, and we got your back. We're standing for you, man.
yeah, it's just you know what, it's just that I've been handling everything for so long by myself. Is it,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, even though it's just like, advice from the digital realm, but
Mhm.
still it's like it's appreciated.
Yeah, I think the most important thing that you can do is literally just being able to carve out a little sliver of breathing space to sit and think about, because knowing what you want is the
Mhm.
hardest thing. It
Right.
might it seems like the writing would be the hardest, or the drawing would be the hardest, the publishing would be the hardest, and the marketing would be the hardest. There's a
Yeah,
lot
all
of hard,
that.
all of those things are hard, but knowing what you actually, knowing what is worth you putting all of the other hard work towards is the hardest thing. So maybe one of the things to do during those 5 to 10 hours a week that you have for yourself, this might sound stupid, but honestly, to just sit down, and you've got a pad of paper next to you if you want to take notes, or if you want to make doodles, or,
Right.
or sketch things out, but to sit and give yourself time to close your eyes and just think and feel. And not necessarily, if something comes out, you can get it down, but the point isn't necessarily, this is time for me to write, this is time for me to draw. It's time for you to get centered and really
Right.
figure out what you want, because that's the deepest work that one can do. And maybe you've been so busy listening to other people and listening to the demands of all the other things that are pulling you in different directions, that you're so busy listening to all those other voices that you can't hear yourself,
Myself. Right.
you know?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing is not starting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's the holiday season,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know if you remember this on the Christmas Carol. They say, "Put one foot in front of each other. Dun-dun-dun-dun. And
Yeah.
soon you'll be walking out the
Oh, yeah, I
door.
remember
There
that.
you go. So that's all you got to do.
Mhm.
Now I'm more on that
Mhm.
I'm the heat miser.
No, we won't do
He
it.
said, no. Yeah, it's all good.
Let's see.
Appreciate it.
Paul clarified. He said I had to quit doing studio in my art because he needed a change
Wow.
of environment. But
Wow.
he says you can do it, Herman. Believe in yourself. Dylan says believe in yourself.
Right.
Bigfoot believes in you. And he said, if I can do it, you can. And I believe in you and Dylan too. And why shouldn't you believe in yourself? So
Right.
we're all here for you, man.
It's all good. Appreciate
On
it.
that note, we're gonna pack it in here. I don't know for sure if I'm gonna do a live stream next week, only because it's gonna be in that in between New Year's and Christmas. Like I plan to do it,
Right.
but if I need to change it, I will. But I am gonna do a couple of Patreon live streams because I haven't done that at all this month, being slammed. But you know what? It just we're here for you, man.
Appreciate it.
So you're gonna be in between the spaces, the upside down like that, the Stranger Things series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let me bring the camera back
Word.
here and let me before I close things out, I just want to say that I appreciate both of you being as candid and sharing
Right.
like your experiences and your thoughts. And Amar, you always come with ideas and thoughts and feedback, and I appreciate that as well.
Right.
Okay, guys. So on that note,
Hit the like button.
yeah, hit that like button. Hit if you're new to the channel, you're just popping in, hit that subscribe button
and share.
And if you know somebody else who would enjoy conversations like these, hit that share button. If you want to get more live streams like these, we do additional bonus live streams twice a month on Patreon. You can get on there for as little as $2 a month. Head on over to patreon.com/Jeremy. It's patreon.com/GERIMI. If you'd like to get a free digital sketchbook, work in progress animated GIFs, blog posts about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what's inspiring me creatively, you can sign up for my free newsletter at substack.com/@Jeremy. And if you would like to purchase physical copies of my comic books or free digitally on Kindle, you can go to amazon.jeremy.net. They'll forward you to my Amazon author page. You can pick up books like my first graphic novel, Eye of the Gods. It's a standalone psychological thriller about a man who is cursed with visions he cannot control. You can also pick up my most recent project, Morning Star. It is a retelling of Lucifer's Fall from Heaven as a Western. It's an 8-issue series. Volume 1 contains issues 1 through 4. Volume 2 contains the conclusion, issues 5 through 8. Both volumes have extensive back matter, character designs, thumbnails, page layouts, and more. I basically show you how I put the entire comic book together. And you can also pick up my my art book, Wound, The Art of Jeremy Burley, Volume 1. You can get that as well. And if you go to the homepage of my YouTube channel, scroll down to the flip throughs playlist, and there are book flip throughs. So you can see what's inside all these books before you pick them up. Okay, guys. So it's going to be it until after the holiday. Well, not after the holidays, but for those who celebrate Christmas, this is it until after Christmas. And for those who celebrate Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever Festivus, whatever holidays you celebrate, be well, be happy, be healthy, hug your loved ones, hug your pets, hug your kids, hug somebody who needs a hug.
Right.
And try to get some rest, and I'll see you either next week or the week after. That's it for now. Go be creative.